Before beginning this repair, shut off the water supply valve, remove the lid to the tank, and flush the toilet. Once the tank is mostly empty, sponge out the rest of the water, draining it into the toilets bowl. With the tank empty, position a plastic container to collect water under the water supply hose and unscrew the hose from the base of the tank, having any water drain into the plastic container below. To remove the tank, its mounting bolts will need to first be unscrewed. Using the flathead screwdriver to hold the head of the bolt and an adjustable opening wrench to loosen the nut, remove all the tank mounting bolts. If the bolts are corroded and too difficult to unscrew, cut through them with a mini-hacksaw. When the bolts are free, lift the tank off the base and place it into the cement mixing tub. With the tank on its side, peel off the sponge gasket, revealing the lock nut. While holding onto the flush valve assembly inside the tank, unscrew the lock nut from the base of the tank using a pair of rib joint pliers. With the assembly disconnected from the tank, unhook the chain from the flush handle and remove the old flush valve assembly. Take the new flush valve assembly, ensuring that its seal is in place, and insert it into the tank of the toilet with the overflow tube at the 10 o'clock position. Then place the external seal on the flush valve and hand tighten the lock nut. Finally, tighten the lock nut with rib joint pliers and affix the sponge gasket over the lock nut. Reattach the flapper valve to the overflow tube and the chain to the flush lever. Insert the tank mounting bolts with washers back through the openings in the base of the tank. Once they are in place, set the tank back on the base of the toilet, lining up the mounting bolts with their corresponding openings in the toilet's bowl. Hand tighten the lock nuts on the mounting bolts and finish off using the screwdriver and socket wrench to secure the bolts watertight with no movement between the tank and the base. Now that the tank is reinstalled, the mounting bolts, depending on personal preference, may be trimmed within a 1/4 inch from the lock nut using a mini hacksaw. Reattach the water supply hose and turn on the water supply valve. The tank should begin to fill. As the tank fills, inspect the joint between the base and the tank for any leaking. Once the tank is full, make any adjustments to the overflow tube, flush valve, and tank fill valve for optimum water level. With all adjustments complete, test cycle the toilet and replace the toilet's tank lid.